Well, to help us understand the magnitude of this situation in Maiduguri, I'm being joined by the Executive Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum. It's good to have you join us on the news, sir. Well, our reporter Jesse has round the clock been giving us updates on the situation in Maiduguri. From your position as the Chief Executive of the state, how dire is the situation? Mr. Governor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm asking, we've had a reporter, this is fifth day, who will be talking to us about the flood situation in Maiduguri. Talk to us from your position as the Chief Executive Officer of the state. How devastating is this incident?
Thank you very much. We have never witnessed such kind of floods in the history of Borno State, because I can say almost about 40% of the total landmass of Maiduguri Metropolitan Council and general local government areas of the states were affected by the floods. Thousands of people were trapped, and then within the last 4 days, both the civil population and the military and paramilitary are working hard in order to rescue them. The worst situation is that the flood has completely disrupted the socio-economic activities in the state. More so, traders have completely lost their means of livelihood. And above all, women and children were severely affected because most of them couldn't have access to food and non-food items within the last few days. You can see the level of devastation. The rescue mission has also become something very difficult. At some instances, we decided to use swamp buggy and others in order to rescue people. So what we did within the last few days basically is to rescue the lives of the people, and we have set up some camps in order to address the situation. Thank you very much.
Well, NEMA has reported the death of 30 persons. As really sad as that sounds, or that is, with hundreds of thousands, just like you said, of people, particularly women and children, now displaced, one may consider the worsening humanitarian situation as a huge challenge, coupled with the security situation in Borno State. Talk us through what you've done, really, and what next would you be doing? What are the steps you'll be taking, going forward to ensure that these displaced persons can have the required help they need?
Thank you very much. I think the numbers of those that have died as a result of this flooding, the numbers are quite more than 30. The water has not still completely receded, and therefore nobody can quantify the numbers of deaths that has happened as at now. So far, so good. I think this flood has affected nothing less than 1 million people in Borno State. What we did so far as temporary measures is to establish camps. So far, we have established about 29 camps, and then we have deployed cooks, and they have started cooking in these camps. But most especially, what we did is to provide immediate support to the victims. We decided to give them 10,000 for heads of household, and then we are providing them with food items. That is what we did. But most especially, in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Federal Ministry of Health, we decided to establish healthcare centers within the camps. However, these are temporary measures. By tomorrow, we shall start distributing food items. Each head of household will receive 25 kg bags of rice, and then a carton of spaghetti and some condiments, so that they will start, cooking by themselves, finding a sustainable solution that shall be taken.
Your Excellency, would like to confirm something else. Earlier reports said that the flood came from a collapsed dam. Well, later we heard it was from the overflow of Nagada River. While we know you've been busy, of course, trying to ensure that these displaced persons have the adequate help they need, have you been briefed on what really led to this?
Yes. We have some problems in the Alo Dam, but I also want you to believe that this year's rainy season, the rain intensity is so high in such a way that the stormwater exceeds the carrying capacity of the dam. And then again, we have problems in the areas of maintenance, amongst others. This year's increased rainfall is a matter of concern to all of us. So for now, little can be done because the water is still flowing, and I don't think anybody can walk inside the dam right now. But luckily enough, the rainfall has started reducing, and the water has started receding also. So we expect that the volume of water, especially the dam, has been overflown. And by now, the volume of water has reduced. So what we are trying to do now is to see how we shall, create more waterways, pump some of the waters from the canals and ensure the silting of the waterways. These are some of the temporary measures that we want to take. But I believe we shall work with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources with a view to ensuring that medium-term and longer-term sustainable solutions were established in order to prevent future occurrences.
Able to estimate the economic impact of the flood on local businesses and, of course, livelihoods. But we see that some houses and other infrastructure have been underwater for more than 4 days now, raising concerns about the state of these buildings. Are you thinking of a longer journey to full return to normalcy than the water just drying up? If you are, how are you going to approach the rebuilding of the city? Mr. Governor, I'm asking, I know that for now you may not be able to estimate the economic, impact of the flood on livelihoods and local businesses, of course. But if you take a look at some of the houses and infrastructure, they've been underwater for 4 days, raising concerns about the integrity of these buildings. What really are you doing? Are you going to be rebuilding the city? Because we know, of course, Borno, particularly Maiduguri, has a beautiful structure.
Yes. Thank you very much. You are right, because most of the structures were submerged. Unless those structures that were strongly built, they will eventually collapse after the water has receded. This is a very known fact. So what we are trying to do is to see how our plot committee will assess the integrity of the buildings so that, we shall take a very longer-term sustainable solutions. But for now, there's nothing we can do. But since the water have started receding, in the next few days to come, a very high-powered committee that was established will go around the town and assess the extent of the damage. But I believe at the end of the exercise, most of those houses that are not very strong will collapse. So the nature and the extent of the damage will be very high. But again, most of the traders have completely lost their means of livelihood, especially those that are selling grains. Their grains were submerged, those that are selling cement, those that are selling cement, sugar and others have completely lost their means of livelihood. Those that are selling animals have also lost their their animals. So what we are trying to do is to see how we shall conduct an in-depth analysis of what has happened with a view to supporting them. But inshallah, very soon. We have expertise at the state level. We shall join hands with NEMA and other federal agencies, to conduct a rapid assessment so that we shall come to their own aid.
We hear you and we see the steps that you're taking to ensure that people are safe and, of course, Borno State gets back on its feet. But a lot of persons will raise security concerns. We know that Borno State, particularly Maiduguri, has been affected by decade-long insurgency. Are you concerned about security, and what are you doing to ensure that people, terrorists, do not infiltrate the camps that you've already set up?
Thank you very much. We are trying to mitigate climate actions as some of our longer-term sustainable solutions. Borno State government is investing in green energy, green technology. We are doing everything possible to ensure that our ecosystem is being preserved. We are trying to also promote the biodiversity in our own state, and most especially preserving the flora and fauna species in the state by ensuring that we plant trees, amongst others. These are longer-term solutions that we want to take. However, we still have human factors. Human beings decided to, erect structures inside waterways, thereby reducing the width of the canals and then the width of the waterways. These are some of the problems that we are facing. But inshallah, very soon, Borno State government will also review the environmental laws so that, those that are not willing to adhere to the rules and regulations shall be punished accordingly. These are some of the measures that we want to take. But the most important thing that we want to do is to study the hydrology of the areas so that, we shall also sensitize the community, give them some very, serious early warning systems and signs so that people will listen to us. Advocacies are also needed. But above all, we must sit down and then look into the possibility of, reducing, deforestation, planting trees and others, and ensure that, the dam receives the desired attention. I heard some that are saying that, government is not taking a very good care of management of the dam. No. I hope the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, under the auspices of the Chad Basin Development Authorities, are doing their best. What really happened is as a result of huge rainfall this year, beyond the carrying capacity of the dam. This is one of the reasons. The second reason is because, at the upstream, most of the dams in Cameroon were released without giving notice to us. That has resulted into the breakages of the dam. But be rest assured that, inshallah, in the near future, we'll take some decisive measures that will prevent future occurrences. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the much we can take, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for talking to us on TVC News on 10. Hopefully we'll get you back to help us understand what you're doing for these displaced persons.